Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3.
Speaking of teeth, the little one's got another tooth coming in and he's all excited. I had to take a picture and show him because it's the first one. And he's like, what? There's a new tooth back there? So,
That's cool.
All right. Good morning, everyone. It is November 10th, 2020. Tuesday. I hope everybody's been enjoying this weather. I know it's been absolutely fantastic. I don't know if you guys heard, there was thunder last night.
Oh, I didn't know.
Like legit thunder last night, which was surprising. So, yeah, it was interesting. So first thing on the agenda is our typical reminders. Again, if you're submitting a ticket or supporting with someone with submitting a ticket, please give us as much information as possible. URLs are wonderful to take us directly to the Canvas page. Student ID numbers and staff emails are also a huge help. Just giving us a name makes it a little bit of a needle in the haystack when you start searching for users. We have a lot of users in the district. I think that was one of the first things I noticed when I started working with Jake and our team. It was, you search a name like Smith and you're just like, oh my goodness. And it doesn't even have to be a common name. It could be any name, and you find a lot of them. Again, continue to look at Canvas at canvas.cmslearns.org. We're in the process of making an update to that, hopefully next week. Hopefully we can push that out and show you all. We've been having some fun behind the scenes, learning some new things. If you're using the PD courses, Canvas Challenge and Google Drive Challenge, please continue to submit those. Amy, how are we looking over there?
We're all caught up. For the most part, I think most users are working their way through. There's a few points where if they get stuck and they submit a support request, we reply within 24 hours for the most part. Yep.
Cool, Amy, and thank you for doing that. And as a reminder, PowerSchool changes to Canvas can take 24 to 72 hours. I got that reminder this week because I was jumping the gun on a little. We got some error reports on something, and I was a little quick to say, hey, what's going on? And Jake was like, let's be patient. And sure enough, this morning we got on there and they were all correct. So make sure, continue to use the forms and then submit tickets for us, and let us know if you have any questions. On our agenda today, our first item on the agenda, Jake's going to talk to us about DLC credit for this course. So Jake?
Yeah. So our thinking here is that we want to incentivize people to participate more in the Canvas admin and be more informed about how you can support your school. So, and that's work, right? To spend the time here. So we're going to offer some credit for participating in the Canvas admin process. That doesn't mean attending live streams. If you can't be here for our Tuesday morning live stream, that's okay. There's a recording. The way we will track your participation is by completing monthly quizzes. We'll put them in the course. So look for an announcement coming out on that. But we will probably do a monthly quiz based on the topics discussed in these meetings for that month. So there's a couple of questions. We'll design it so that you can take the quiz as many times as it takes to get the passing score, which is probably a perfect score for this. But we will also design it so that the amount of time it will take you to guess will be longer than the amount of time it will take you to find the correct answer. All right. So that's the aspect of that. And we'll give you credit at the end of the school year. So in June, which means all quizzes would need.
Uh-oh.
Did we lose them again?
We did lose.
I'm talking here.
You froze up on us again today.
Yeah. So I think we lost you where it said, which means all quizzes would need to be done. So what he was saying is we would give credit in June. So all of your quizzes would have to be submitted, I think, by May. Is that what you were going for?
Usually May 15th, around there.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
by May 15th to give us time to process it. Yeah.
And award credit before
Yeah.
the end of the school year.
Yeah.
Yes. So just know that will be coming, an announcement. Look for it towards the end of this month. So November would be the first month where there would be a quiz based on the things that we discussed and things that you can do as a Canvas admin.
Yep.
Very good.
Okay.
Thank you.
And yep. Next we have our how-tos.
So we've got a few things that one new feature that Jake has been working very hard on. It's kind of exciting. Jake?
So if you look at a user now inside of Canvas, you will see, like when you go to your account admin settings and look up people, any person you click on, first off, underneath login info, it will, if they have an observer, it will show the observer. You can click on the observer's name. They're obscured here, but you could actually read the user's name. You would click on it and it would take you to that observer's user page. It'll tell you when they were created and it will show their email address that was used to log in to Canvas. So those are just nice features to make you know this person has observers and here they are. So this is a student, it's actually my son, and those are my personal account and my wife's personal accounts there that are obscured. So that's one of the first things that you'll notice when you look at users. If they have observers, the observer.
Now we lost him again. So Amy, can we back up 1 second while we see if Jake's able to get right? And when Jake says looking at users, how would someone that has admin access, either account or school admin access, how would someone look at the user's page. I think you had one pulled up.
I did have a user pulled up. Or I thought I did. When you're in your this instance and you're an admin, you're going to click on your shield. I think everybody's having some internet issues because this one was supposed to be loaded.
Oh, we all?
we're all on the struggle bus today. So if you're inside of Canvas and you are an admin, you can click on the shield and click on your site. And so this is what Jake was saying verbally, but we do want to show you. So for example, at Butler, I would click on Butler High School, and then I would be able to look up people. Now, I'm not going to look up a specific person because now that we've done some of these enhancements, there are actually now grades going to be listed on this page. So I'm not going to click on a user, but you would click on people here and you would be able to search them right here. And that's how you would bring up that user. Okay. So Jake was talking to us about this page.
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yep.
Yeah. So on that same page now, we've also added, if you go to the next slide.
Yep.
We've added so we've added the ability to see students' activity in their courses. So the active courses, the ones that are this semester or this school.
We're losing them today. So what we're looking at here is Jake is pulling the data. So when the user's page loads, we're pulling the active courses and presenting a table of information. So when they last accessed Canvas, total time in the course, and then their current score. If you click on the current score, what's really cool is it will take you to the grades page for that user. So it's like if you were in the grade book in a course and then you wanted to click on a specific user, it comes up with a whole different page that shows you that student in that specific course. So that's what this is doing here. And one thing we didn't mention, and Amy, maybe you can help me with this while Jake's getting himself sorted out, or Jake, if you've got some, why did we add these changes? What was the point? Why should users care about this?
So I'm going to turn off my video. That might help with the audio. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
All right.
Yeah.
So the why we did this was to give you, like, the users that have access to this page have access to all of those resources, like current score, last time they accessed, and all of that. But you have to go into the course and go to specific pages in the course to see that info. So the idea was to make it accessible right from just the user page. So you don't have to click as far, you don't have to know how to navigate Canvas as extensively. Just make that information load right from the Canvas page for that user. Because the people that have admin rights are like the tech facilitators or the all facilitators, all principals and APs and deans. Those are the users that have this access. You could add counselors as admins, or what do we call them? Those leadership viewers would be a role that would prevent them from editing content, but they could see content. So like your school counselors could be added into your Canvas schools account to see users' participation, see like the last time they accessed that course. And you can really quickly, well, they're failing this course and they haven't accessed the course in over a month. This is time to intervene, right? Real easy to take a snapshot of this and understand what is happening for that student. You can jump to some conclusions about what is happening, and then you have to have conversations with them to figure out what to do next.
He knows why I'm laughing. We've been talking about the jump to conclusions, Matt, from Office Space. Jake, should we take a second also to discuss the leadership viewer role?
Let's
wait.
Yeah, let's hold on that for maybe the next office hours. We'll add to that.
Okay. Amy, if you go ahead to the next one.
Yep. It should have.
Yeah, it did.
Okay.
So one issue that we're seeing and we are aware of, and we've reported to Canvas and they're supposed to be pushing out a fix, is the customizations that we have in our instance of Canvas are sometimes not loading. The way you can tell very quickly is you'll get this dark blue with the Canvas logo. You get the dark blue sidebar. if that happens, the customizations that we're showing you for the observers and the student active courses, that's not going to show up if you're seeing this blue sidebar. This is a known issue. We're working on getting it fixed with Canvas. You do not need to submit a ticket. Just be patient. And unfortunately, we haven't been able to find a rhyme or reason as to why it's loading and why it's not yet. Jake, is there anything you want to add to that?
I was going to say, occasionally, if you refresh the page, sometimes if you go into a course, we're noticing that maybe sometimes that fixes it. Or if you go to like your specific account under like your Shield, sometimes that fixes it. But we are noticing this, unfortunately.
Cool. Yeah. Thank you.
Sorry, I'm getting a few emails about a video unavailable errors that they're seeing in YouTube while trying to watch the live stream, saying the video is restricted. They probably are not signed into their Google accounts, but I'm just seeing a couple come in, so I'm trying to
These are actually public, in fact, today, so there's no reason that they would not.
Well, if they're on CMS Network, YouTube restricted mode.
That's
but
true.
They should be approved.
Yeah, I would think, unless there's something strange where we're not approved. I'll look into that. So once we take a look at those user page enhancements that Jake has done, which are kind of cool, that led us to the thought that a lot of times once you've seen that enhancements page, it might lead you to want more information. And so we kind of want to show you where you might want to go to find more information other than just the grades page. So like Justin said, the enhancements that Jake has created on this page, if you click on that current score, it's going to take you to the grades page for each one of those courses. But what's nice is once you're in one of those courses, you can actually on the left click on New Analytics, and you'll be able to see a specific user. And so all you've got to do is type in that user's name in this box. It's like a search box. It'll populate as you type. So for example, I looked myself up in the Canvas Challenge course in this screenshot. And what it'll do is it'll show you that student in comparison to the whole course, to the other sections. But there are also other tabs and other things you can look at. So I could scroll down and see my activity. I could click on students. I can also now click on reports. So this reports tab is a little bit newer, and it's one that I want to point out to Canvas admins because this is something I also would love for Canvas admins to show their teachers. So this reports tab has recently showed up in the new analytics page, and it allows a teacher or a admin to run a course level report to look for missing assignments, late assignments, excused assignments, class rosters, and also course activity. And all you got to do is just click the Run Report button, and it'll run it, I believe, as a CSV and allow you to download it and just get some more information. So this might be helpful, especially come like progress report time. Running like a missing assignments report and getting that to students, or having a conference with a student and letting them know what they're missing for your class, or running a late assignment and seeing like, hey, why are all these late? Maybe we need to have a conversation with that student. And so these are now here under that new analytics page. But again, this is one I've got to kind of be careful to demo online, like live, because obviously that's a lot of data for a user. But this is a page I would strongly encourage a teacher and an admin to both spend some time on. Under this icon, or under my thing, there's actually a little envelope icon that looks like a mail, a piece of mail, and that's because that's actually how you can message. So you can actually message students and the entire section from here, and you can send very targeted messages on students who are missing things, who have a certain average, or whatever, and it kind of does the work for you to assess who you need to send that message to. One drawback of new analytics is it's about 24 hours behind, but that kind of makes sense. This is a ton of data. It takes time to process that much data. So typically you'll see right here under where it says average course grade, it'll say as of, and it'll give you the date that this data was last updated. So this isn't going to be, hey, Timmy looked at this 5 minutes ago and I can see this here. This is, okay, let me see how Timmy is doing in the class overall for the last 9 weeks. Let me see how he's doing. Oh, I see that, there's been quite a few little times where he's not been doing what he needs to be doing. How can I intervene and assist that student? But this is not necessarily within the last 24 hours. If you do not see new analytics here on a page, as we have said before, you're going to go to settings, you're going to go to the navigation tab, and you need to enable new analytics. For the most part, it should be enabled. This is not a page that students can see, but if it's not enabled, you can enable it by doing that. Don't forget to hit save at the bottom. And if you've forgotten directions on how to do that, we definitely have the directions on how to enable course navigation options. I think that's posted on canvas.cms Learns. If it's not, we'll get it up there, but I know we've went over it in previous webinars. So please take a look at that. But this is another way, like if you're here and you're like, this is great information, but I want more, and then you click on the grades page and you still need more information, that new analytics page is a lot more information. And again, if I scroll down on this page, you can start to see it. It goes through and shows you the activity, like the amount of pages this user's viewed, the quizzes they have taken, all of that kind of stuff. So it's a very useful page for you. So,
and I think it'd be fair to, if it's new and you've not used it before, we would encourage you just to go in and start to click around. Yeah. Amy will probably tell you that's how she's learned as much as she has about this, is just by simply clicking and exploring the data and then helping support others. And again, if our goal is to help support teachers, this could be a great tool.
Yes. So we do want to show you a demo student to kind of show you live how this would work. So I'm going to stop acting as the demo student themselves and show you how you would look up a user, how you use these enhancements, what that would look like. So you see that I am in Canvas as an admin, and I'm going to click on my shield. And I want to know more about demo student. So I'm going to go to my sub account. So in this case, I'm going to look at IT strategies because that's where this student exists, but you would click on your site name. And so I'm going to click there. And then I'm going to click on people because I'm not looking for a course. I'm looking for a person. And then I'm going to be able to search right here. For those of you who are Canvas ninjas, there is a way to set up a custom search engine, which is what I'm used to doing for this process, to search this easier. But then I can click search people. And so in this case, I'm going to look up demo student, which is a
note on the search. Last name is recommended over first names because there's a lot of them. If you do just first space last, you may not find them. Student ID or employee ID is the state IDs are going to be the most surefire way to find someone.
Yeah. So if I click here, that's a good point because yeah, sometimes it's hard to find people. Try a couple different search queries if the first one doesn't work. So all I did was I clicked on their name. And that's how I get to this page. So just to show you, so as you saw, this active course information box kind of appeared like after the page started to load. So this is the enhancement that Jake has created, as well as under enrollments here, we see an active list of enrollments. With a user that's in a lot of courses, this is helpful because, for example, like second semester classes are not active right now. So those will not be highlighted in gray. So those are not going to draw your eye as much. You'll also see that kind of course quick lookup is kind of my thought process of what it looks like, where it kind of shows you each course. It shows you when it was last accessed, how much time they've spent in the course, and their current grade. So I've like fake taken quizzes and assessments in this course as this user. So if I click on this, this is now going to take me to a grades page. So we just kind of want to demo what that looks like for you. So once I'm in this grades page, I'll get more information, like which assignment did the student take, did the student not take. I can see what's been submitted, what has not been submitted, and I can get some more information for what's happening for this user. And like I said, after that point, the other piece you can click on, as you see over here on the left, I can also click on new analytics and get a deeper dive into that user's data should I need it. So this course is completely set up for demonstration purposes. None of this is real data. But this, as you can think about, would be very useful if you have a student who, for example, has dropped off the face of the earth. Like when? What happened? Where are they? What did they do? What have they not done? And then you can kind of use this to intervene. And this is where it's really useful that our admins are people like assistant principals and principals. And theoretically, you could add counselors and social workers so that those people have access to this data and they can start to use this data to help students get back on track faster. So then on this here, we're going to type in demo student, and I can click on them, and I can see that it will populate information. This is, of course, updated as of yesterday. I should have data. No, I guess I probably did it after EST. I should have data here. But it will go through and kind of show you the activity for each student.
I'm wondering, there could have been just a delay in that sync.
There must be.
Yeah, the 24 hours could be off.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've seen that be off a little bit.
Yeah. But you can still click on it and see like what the activity is in the course. And again, like Justin said earlier, it's just clicking. Like, honestly, some of this is just clicking through and spending some time to see what you can and can't get. And it is very useful to kind of look through this sometimes to see how a kid's doing.
And it'll be different depending on what the teacher has configured, right? What kind of assignments have they created? And if they received a bunch of assignments from Blueprint and never used them, then they also will have that issue of all these assignments with no grades listed because they're not using those assignments.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. Cool little thing to note is these little icons matter. It's telling you what down here these things are. So you can see if it's an assignment and a discussion or a quiz. So that can be relevant information. And earlier, this was the button I was talking about, the message students who. I can click on this and I can message this specific student, or if I remove that student and I have the whole section, the whole class, if you will, I can click message student who, and it'll give me these options where I can set a grade range. I can include all sections. It'll tell me if like I change the range, it'll tell me who those students are that it's selected based on that criteria. I can also look at missing and late as well. So again, this is the whole work smarter, not harder type technique when using Canvas. Some of this can be done from the grades page as well, as we've demoed before, but this is another place that you can do it and kind of take a deeper dive into student data inside of a Canvas course. And I know, especially in this remote world, we want better ways of seeing what students can and are doing inside of a Canvas course. So this is a way to kind of get into that data a little bit deeper. Anything I missed?
Oh.
Nope. Thank you.
Okay. Just wanted to demo that through the way. All right. So I think that was all we had for today. So now we go to questions.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Questions. And we've got Connie is first up on the list while you're loading. She had actually submitted this after our last meeting. So as a reminder, this form is open 24/7. This is not a place for tickets, but it does help us. Amy, if you go back to the presentation.
Okay.
Actually, before I forget. So yep, that one. Mm-hmm. So we're going to do questions, but then also one of the things that we're going to talk about with this is feature requests or ideas. And we're looking for how can you submit them to Canvas, but then also to us as well. So if you've got ideas, use the j.mp/ITPD office hours form. Submit us ideas of things you want to see. So Connie's given us one that we definitely want to talk about. We've got it on our list, and hopefully we'll get into a little bit more. So first question from Connie is, can you use rubrics with external tools? She can't seem to make it work. Yes, there's one key caveat. You've got to create the rubric first and attach it before you set up the external tools. Is that correct, Amy?
Yes, and you have to do it before you've ever configured an external tool. So if you've already tried to configure the external tool, create a brand new assignment, add the rubric, then configure an external submission. If you don't do it in that order, it won't work. And that is one thing that is a very frustrating thing about external tools. Don't worry, you're not alone. The Canvas community has talked about this very loudly to Canvas. It's something I imagine one day we will see changed, but currently that is how you do it. You do have to configure that rubric at the very beginning when you create a fresh assignment before you configure any external tool. And that's true of all external tools. That's not just one specific tool. Yep.
Well, in thinking about the rubrics, one of the things that we did in the Canvas challenge was attach a rubric to a discussion.
Yes.
And this tripped a lot of people up. You've got to make it a graded discussion. Then you can attach the rubric. So just know there's an extra step that you attach the rubric before you can actually finish creating the assignment.
Yeah, rubrics are a little tricky. The Canvas guides have really good documentation on pieces like that, though, because they know it's a little tricky. So little pieces like that, you really have to kind of pay attention to. Yep. All right. So that leads her to a second question that was also submitted by Connie.
Yep. It says, teacher stated uploading audio and video by students for submission of assignments can take forever. It would be nice to send the powers of be the Canvas that there can be a progress bar added so the students know how long to wait. She's just passing along the info. This is obviously not something that we can do because we are not Canvas administrators in terms of the company, but it did trigger us the idea to show you the place where you could submit this idea to Canvas. Amy's pulled that up if you want to show that to them.
Yeah, so one thing I would always suggest is go to the Canvas community. They have so many great ideas there too, and voting on them is how Canvas actually decides to make changes in their product. So I'm going to first take you to the Canvas community. I've got that pulled up as well. So on just the Canvas community, if I click up here on product, I can see this ideas conversation. And so that's this next tab that I have open. And the ideas conversation, it used to be called feature request. Now it's called the ideas conversation. But basically, this is where you as a user can, hey, Canvas, this would be really great if you did the following. It is very solution oriented. This is not a complaint board. This is a, hey, it currently does this, but it would be nice if it instead did this. So you do have to be very solution oriented when you write up an ideas request, I guess. And so they actually even on here, you'll notice have a how do idea conversations work? And then also they have a process for how you create one. So for example, I recently created one. And because I had seen a certain behavior that I didn't like inside of new quizzes. And so I actually submitted it only to find out that actually there was a strange configuration that I did not understand. And so they actually worked with me, came back, and we had a great conversation, and I was able to figure out why that was happening in that situation and why it doesn't always happen. But it still let them know, oh, it does happen in this one situation, so maybe we should address that as well. And so Canvas actually does read these. They're really fast at responding on this platform. But what's really cool is to spend some time and read through some of these feature requests and vote on them, because the more people vote, the more Canvas knows that this matters. So I sometimes literally go onto this page, and over here I look for labels. So one of my favorite labels to look for is new quizzes, because that's one that needs some love still. And so I will kind of look through some of these labels and find the one for new quizzes, and I'll pull up all of those and read through the top ones and vote for them one way or the other. So this is kind of a cool way to do that. But taking a look at some of these, if you don't see the thing you want up here and you've searched for it, submit it. People might actually agree with you, and it might get voted up enough, and Canvas might say, hey, a status bar when they're submitting media is a great idea. That is something we need to add. And who knows, you could actually see it released. Things like that actually do happen in Canvas over the years. We've been using Canvas long enough. I've got to see some of this happen in real time. It's really cool. So this is how Canvas has a conversation with their clients. So use this. If you create one, send it out. People will vote on it. Every time I create one and I get it approved and it goes through the whole process, you better believe the first thing I do is I email it to every one of my teachers, and I'm like, if you agree with this, go vote for it. So this is definitely a great place to spend some time.
Yeah.
And a couple of notes.
Democratic process to do this, because developers have a finite amount of time. The stuff that we do, we have a finite amount of time. We're doing the best we can with the time we have. Getting the information about that from our audience is the best way to do it, and that's how Canvas does it. Unfortunately, the community that most reports things for ideas is the universities and professors. So Canvas may have too much of a higher education look and feel because they are more vocal. If we don't convey our voices, then we get what we get.
Yeah.
And when you're submitting these ideas, it's important to, one, fully bake out the thought in terms of what you're looking for, but then also explain why. How does this impact students? How does this impact teachers or the other stakeholders that are going to be using Canvas? Saying that I just want a progress bar is not enough for them. They need to know what you're doing and why you're doing it, but also be sure not to post any kind of student data or anything like that that would be considered PII.
Yeah.
So just a thought there.
But take a screenshot of what you were seeing,
Yep.
Go into photo or like a Google slide deck and mock it up. Show what you would like to be there in the design.
They actually walk you through.
And as they're thinking about this,
go ahead.
I was just going to say, as they're thinking about the idea of features, also please don't forget, provide us some feedback with the J.MP or ITPD office hours on what you would like to see us demo. What do you want from us? What are some other features like what Jake did last week with the observers and the active courses? What are some other things that we can do as well?
So they actually, so if you click on this when you're on the Ideas Conversation main page, it actually shows you the whole process. It talks about how they listen, why they have the rating system that they do, but they also give you instructions on how do I create a new one. And the really cool thing is if you read through this, they walk you through the process. They want you to first search and see if somebody else has submitted it, but then they also tell you what a good example of a good feature request is, and what a good one is. So it even says like, keep it simple, right? Like they don't want multiple ideas in one feature request. They want it to be very simple. So they provide examples of like what they consider like a bad idea versus a good idea. And they provide examples of how to be specific. And so they do give you very clear directions. Whenever you write one of these, I would really encourage you to read through this, maybe even have somebody else read your request first before submitting it sometimes, just to make sure that you're not assuming that your audience knows what you're talking about, because that's really easy to do. So this is a really great page. I actually read through this before I wrote mine the other day, and it really gave me a lot of guidance on writing an idea for Canvas. And then again, the lady responded to me in like less than 10 minutes on a Friday night, which was impressive. So they are very on top of this community. So it's something to be aware of. And it might get archived. You might get told, nope, your idea has already been used, or it's already been replied to, or it's, whatever it is. And sometimes they will do that. That's okay. You still participated in the process. You still, did what you needed to do to be a part of this process. Your voice is still being heard when it comes to the Canvas community. Trust me. So just something to be aware of. All right.
Our next question comes from Brianna Bailey. A few students having trouble seeing questions in Canvas quizzes. Please submit a ShareWell ticket for this with specific links to the quiz and specific student IDs.
Yep.
So again, submit a ticket, give us as much specifics as possible, and that'll help us address it.
What device? If we're talking about iPads or Chromebooks, like we've had issues with all of this, and we're trying figuring out which specific issue is happening for you will require all those details.
Yep. And as always, restart the device and make sure it's updated. That's always the first troubleshooting step.
Yeah, and we're seeing that more with the iPad too.
Yeah.
Next question is from Trish, and Trish, this is a good question. To access the information on users, does it work only on PowerSchool connected courses, or does it work for the digital citizenship courses as well that do not have grades?
So for the users page, it would show the digital citizenship course as active courses, and like the grade, it will say, click to view, I think is what we did, because there is no grade. If the grade, when we do the search in the course for the grade, it returns a null value, we'll say click to view, and then you can see the participation, the grades page for that student, all of the assignments and whether they submitted or not or completed. But if you don't have assignments in the course, the digital citizenship course, then it won't tell too much. I mean, the most telling information would just be the last time they accessed the course. There's not much else we could put there to show for that user.
Cool.
Yeah.
The next question we've got, and to go to Trish's question too, it's not only the PowerSchool created courses. If you've got a course that's a sandbox that you're using and you're posting things in there, it could pull that data as well.
Yeah, like it pulls my
So-
Tech Talk course for my staff. Like it's pulling that and giving them a grade because I actually have rubrics in there and stuff. So it's actually giving them a grade for those classes.
Next question is from Andrew Vincent. It says, I have a contracted employee at UNC Advisor. It's asking about having instructional access to Canvas. Jake, this falls under our additional users, does it not?
Yeah. At this time, we cannot make Canvas accounts for contracted employees. We are finite budget, and every user is a cost. So we will not be able to create accounts for contracted employees.
Cool. And I think that's our last question. So if you've got additional questions, j.mp, it's a struggle this morning, /ITPD office hours. Go ahead and submit those. Yeah, I think I need more coffee already.
Yeah. I actually noticed the stream is a little bit more behind today than I'm used to. I wonder what's going on there.
Well, considering we've all been having network trouble.
Yeah.
Google's having trouble too.
Oh,
Must be.
good. It's not just us.
Yeah, I just because normally I can kind of watch it because obviously I'm doing the live stuff. I see OBS, but I also see the YouTube like live page. So normally I'm used to them being fairly within a minute or two of each other, and it seems like the live stream is a good minute or two.
Jake,
maybe even behind.
Jake, do you know what I heard there? I heard
What?
I have Google Fiber.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's
It is reliable. Like we both cannot challenge that.
No.
You're sitting there with a robust network, and we're struggling with the services we can. The only options we have.
It's
Yep.
true. Yeah. It's just interesting because it says excellent connection, so it shouldn't. I don't know. It's weird.
New question just came in from Alexio Parker. It says, is Microsoft Teams downloaded on Chromebooks, and can students receive quote unquote phone calls?
I don't think a program can be downloaded, but I think that it works in the browser. So I think that's how the students would have to use it, where they go to like teams.microsoft.com, I think. As far as phone calls, I think what you can do is if they're on the Teams page, you can video chat with them just like you would a Google Meet. And it does call them, but they do have to have the Teams page open on their device, just like you would on a laptop if you didn't have Microsoft Teams actually downloaded as a program. And personally, I don't use the Teams app anymore because it slows my device down so much. So I use Teams that way exclusively, and I just open the tab.
Okay.
Yep.
Good to know.
Yep. Yep. There it goes. Interesting.
Another one just came in. Jen says, I do not see the new analytics on my Canvas admin page. Is there something I need to do in the settings to be able to see it?
You need to go to a course. This is course level. So you're not going to see this like straight off your admin page. You need to go to an actual Canvas course to see the new analytics. So that's the disconnect there, I think. I don't believe.
Yeah, I think so too. It's just there's nothing on the admin.
Yeah, you have to go inside an actual course. Yeah. And I kind of skipped around. I showed you going to it from being on the click to view the grades page on that, like a user enhancement from the grade, clicking there first, that it takes you to the course. You're no longer on your admin page. You're now on the course. So that's, yeah.
And so people know we use the users page all the time. When we're supporting tickets or trying to figure out what's going on, the users page is where we go a lot of, and having the ability to make a search engine for it where I can just search for a name and go then dive in further. I mean, I use that more than the courses page for sure.
Well, and it's very useful to be able to look up a student and see just like all of that in one place. And that was kind of the idea behind Jake doing this. Now, of course, my theme just crashed, so it's not going to work. So this is the error we were talking about. So notice that my sidebar no longer has the CMS logo at the top, and it's the dark gray versus the lighter gray. So if I click on this, let's see if it fixes it, but I don't think it's going to.
I can't see the screen very well, but are you at the root level or are you in a sub account?
I'm at root, so let me try.
Yeah, root seems to be where it happens. We will experience more than
Okay, good.
Site level
There
admins.
we go.
Fortunately, they shouldn't have this too much.
But that's because my custom search engine is at the root level. Crap.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
That's why. Okay. So, notice my toolbar is now the gray again. So that's how we know.
Yeah, and there, did you see our folder just popped in a little bit slower too?
Well, I noticed there's like
At the
2
bottom there.
C's. Y'all see that? That's really hard to see on my. There was like the 2 letter. It was like letter C. Letter C was like hovering weirdly outside the CMS logo. It was super weird.
I think the
Things
MS
aren't
is
loading
trying-
fully.
Yeah.
So we do have another question when you're done. I don't know if
yeah.
you're going to look up a user or.
I was just going to show them what I meant by like how to get to New Analytics. So New Analytics is still not on here because I'm still on the admins page. So I was just going to show them.
Yep.
Part of it was going, so I got to wait on that to load. I was actually clicking here. When I click on this current thing, it's actually going to take me to the grades page of a course. So it's going to take me to the grades page of this course. So once I'm there, that's where you're going to look for New Analytics. I get that that's a little bit of a distinction there. Canvas has a lot of layers when it comes to thinking through that. So now you notice New Analytics is there because I'm actually in a course now. So that's the difference there. All right.
So Sandy's asking a question about iPads, iMovie. You got to put in a ticket for that. I'm not exactly sure what the behavior is, but none of us support iPads. That's a separate team, and we don't really have an answer for you.
Yeah. Not iPad people.
So CMS ticket, mysupport.cms K12NCUS.
HTTPS in front of it. It's helpful.
Yeah.
Actually.
Let's take him as asking what the question was.
I think it was a ticket regardless.
I do too.
Yeah.
iMovie on iPads. Sorry. Parent Observer. Can Observer remove courses themselves? Parent Observer can't see all courses anymore. Interesting. That's news to us, Meg. She's saying that the parent cannot see all the courses that the student is enrolled in. We would have to investigate to see what's going on. I'm wondering, like, is it that the other courses aren't published, or did someone remove them? So a teacher or any admins at your school could click on their enrollment for that course and be removed, even though they're still paired with the student. They would lose their pairing.
Where else we saw it?
Where?
We saw it when a student's section was changed, or to a new course. When those schedule changes happened, the observer would stay in the older course but not go to the new one. We did see some of that.
Occasionally, yeah. We want them to go to Canvas chat support.
Yeah,
that would be where we'd start with that.
Yeah.
You still want to get there real quick?
Yep.
Because we use that one all the time too.
So yeah, we would suggest in this case, as a parent observer, they have the ability to do Canvas chat support as well, right? So just like you do, we would suggest they click on help over on the left, and then they can click on.
Well, hang on, Amy. Parents don't have access to chat.
So where would we tell them?
So
to go?
Meg would do this.
Meg
would report this issue. Yes.
Yep, that's what I was like. Wait a minute. So click on help and then do live chat, and you can work with the parent to get that information to the chat support and help them get that sorted out. Yeah. What do parent observers see over here? I'm wondering. I'll have to look at that.
Check them, but I use my primary account.
They see it the same as students.
Okay.
So links to the Canvas guides and whatnot, but they don't have live chat as
That
an
makes
option.
sense. I figured because it says faculty, so that does make sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
See, anything else we want to update people on?
I think the users page is the biggest one. Can't think of anything else right now. I'm updating the webinars page to make sure this is all there. Boys did good. They came in once.
Nice.
That's not too bad.
Sounds like chaos down there.
Yeah. I was gonna see if I can get one of the example students who has like lots of enrollments to show up, just because. Let's see if it'll load.
Oh, from the Canvas challenge.
It must have loaded the other day.
You do realize we're all having internet. I was gonna say we are all having internet problems today.
Yep.
Yep.
It's example 1. I'm just curious. Let me know if a question pops up. I'll jump back over.
Yeah, nothing yet.
Yeah. It is kind of helpful to see more than one enrollment. I probably should have put that demo student into more than one course.
Yeah. For next time.
Yeah. I would definitely encourage anybody who's a Canvas admin to go just take a look at it, look up a couple of users. That's what I did as soon as Jake told me about it and told me he wanted to check it out. I literally just picked a couple of students that I knew were students we would want to check up on and was like, let me see how this kid's doing. Let me see how this kid's doing. And it was helpful. It was interesting. I think that some of our counselors would really be able to use this. Yeah.
And we specified this is for students.
Yes.
Viewing students as part of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So it does tell me the course enrollments. It's still loading that other box. I don't know if that other box ever loaded the other day because I did know it had 1,700 plus enrollments, but I don't know if I ever saw the other box now that I'm thinking about it. It's trying though.
Well, Jake, what do you think? Haven't any other questions come in?
Yeah, I think we'll wait one more minute. At 10:50, we'll call it if we don't hear anything. And just a reminder, we'll be doing these every week. What do you think would be some good questions we'd have for the quiz for credit concerning this meeting?
I would probably ask them how to look up it. We could always ask things like how to look up a user.
Well, I want to know what new things you can see.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
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 My goal is to kind of demo how to use.
Oh, we should take time to write that out too before we can.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Hey, you did it.
I did. Oh.
Well, there it goes.
It's trying, Jake. It's trying so hard. Holy crap, it did it.
I want to see how long this section gets now.
I mean, this user theoretically has.
You load a user with lots and lots of stuff.
It's one of the Canvas
Yeah.
challenge users that we're enrolling everybody in.
It's example
Uh-huh.
1. So
There it
this
goes.
is 1,700 plus courses. That's pretty awesome, though. It is. It just keeps going. Because, yeah, 17, 19.
Oh.
Yep.
Wow. I was pretty sure it loaded the other day.
One
when
more
we
question just popped in,
Yep.
but it's not for our team. It's from George Dickerson related to Zoom. What will be the meeting size limit for Zoom EDU that the district's purchasing?
My understanding is it's 300 users.
That's what I'm hearing too.
And live streaming will not be an option for schools with Zoom EDU. You can put in a ticket requesting a live stream option, and I believe the CMS help desk will create a go-to webinar for you to do a live stream with your constituents for your school. If you need more than 300 participants, you would use a go-to webinar, and that's a help desk request.
All right.
Well, everyone, thank you for your time. Hopefully the weather's good again today. I didn't check yet. And we'll see you all next week.